It's time for EdTech Mondays, brought to you by MasterCard Foundation and CC Hub.
Welcome to another episode of the EdTech Mondays Nigeria show, a show that explores the dynamic world of education technology in Nigeria. My name is Chinyelu Akpa, your host, and it's good to be here again. If you have been following the conversation this year, I'm sure you have learned so much. So what better way to tell us about your experience than writing to us? Send us a WhatsApp message 0703-165-0809 to give us a feedback and tell us how well we are doing or not. We'd sure love to hear from you. Today, we'll be continuing the conversation on assessing the impact of EdTech on learning outcomes. We have had beautiful conversations so far, and we have been hearing, wonderful feedback from you, the listeners, and even from our panelists who have given us, feedback on how you, the guests, have been engaging with them after the show airs. So this week, we'll be continuing the conversation with a special guest who has over 5 years in K-12 education. Interestingly, she transitioned into EdTech and has since then worked with various EdTech companies. Currently, she serves as the Learning and Development Manager at Kunda Kids, focused on enhancing learning experiences through research, curriculum development, instructional design, and learning strategies. Join me as I welcome on the show today, Cynthia Emenike.
I felt like clapping and
Thank you, Cynthia. It's good to be here. So what's Kunda Kids about? Because here, as you know, we're discussing the impact of EdTech. So what's Kunda Kids about?
So Kunda Kids is a leader EdTech and publishing company. So we have our mobile app that helps to improve literacy for kids. So our primary focus is kids between the ages of 4 to 10.
Okay.
So basically primary education, right? And then we also have our books, our published books, which are everywhere in schools, in libraries. One of the things that we're very particular about is giving the African child a representation. So most of our books are African inspired. All of them are African inspired. Then finally, we have our animated series, because we wanted to create a platform for children, African children, to see themselves in the stories that they read, to be the heroes of their own stories. So we have our animated series for preschoolers called Kunda and Friends on YouTube. So yeah, we're doing a lot of things.
So relating to the type of products, I would say, you put out for Kunda Kids, I'll give you a very big example. You work with children from 4 till about 10 years old. And at this age, one of the earliest introductions they get into EdTech is, animated videos and stories. And we've seen over time, without wanting to call a particular fruit that we all like, that influences how children, and so it's this animated, videos, and that has JoJo, and kids are learning so much. But there's been so much talk about, addiction, and parents are complaining, children are learning very wonderful accents. You see children in Katangura who are speaking like, so some people, that's what they want to achieve, right? But we know that when we drill deeper to their ability to, or when we now look at what maybe the global proficiency framework is for literacy, they are not doing so well. It's just the fun games and that engagement and laser focus, eyes on your laptop, on your phone, whatever device they are streaming it to it, and nobody is getting disturbed because they are all zoned in at that time. So how do you put Kunda Kids and your products through the ringer to ensure that what you are doing is helping kids? And I'm even more concerned about those at the early years, right? Yes. Helping them get literacy, but not get addicted. Because parents will say, oh, EdTech, the problem is, they get addicted. It's not phone, it's not laptop, it's not tab. How you show that you're understanding what they need to learn and you're incorporating it into how you're designing, how you're building your products, and ensuring that there is that balance that gives the literacy outcomes we all want them to have.
Exactly. And I'm really, really glad you brought this up, because it's one of the things that I'm a mom. So it's also one of the things that I'm really, really concerned about, right? I have like a checklist of channels that I allow my kid to watch. And this is after I've done the research on these channels. Like, yes, your stuff is good and nice, but what are the outcomes and how is it affecting my child and his development, right? And my role in Kunda Kids, it's learning and development. And I like to say that it's also quality assurance and quality control, right? So basically what we're doing is we're not trying to get kids fixated on the screen. We're not trying to get them fixed on the screen, right? The point is we want children to be able to learn from the screen. I don't know if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is that you're looking at whatever it is that you're looking at any point in time, if it's our mobile app, if it's our animated series, if it's our web app through, the schools, because that's also a product we have for schools. Uh-huh. We want to be able to measure the impact and the impact it's having on their learning process. And that's why whenever we're creating, from the ideation phase, we're always collaborating with parents, we're always collaborating with teachers, we're always collaborating with educators and experts. I know that there are so many times that we have wanted to go a certain direction, but we found out that in the long run, this would be harmful to kids. We're very careful about the colors that we use, that it's not too stimulating, right? And then even with our app, there was a feature that we were talking about recently, even though we've not implemented. When we have kids on the app for a while and we tell them, okay, it's time to take a break, go out and play and have fun with touch grass. Exactly. Go touch grass, go out and play. And also to give them activities and assessments away from the app. So you want to see, for example, we have this book called Malik's Bridge. So the book comes with assessments where you want kids to build bridges, right? So we're doing all of these things because at the end of the day, we want you to learn from, we don't want you to be there. It's not where you're supposed to be. You come, take what you're supposed to take from the app and then use it in, real world, real life scenarios per se. So that's how we are. And of course, we also align with, the global framework for education. At every point in time, we're testing. It's something that we do not play with, because I've come to realize, and this is not to undermine what anybody is doing, but I feel like a lot of products we have out there are not really built with kids in mind. And when I say kids in mind, I feel people are like, let's just get a good product out that's, we'll have people downloading and kids, you want them on the phone, gamified and stuff like that. With our reading app, our mobile app, at a point we're like, how do we get more people to use this app, right? The problem was not that people were not coming to the app. The problem was we need to, spread the word, because we know that we've built something beautiful. Probably we just need to push marketing, right? And then get more people on board, because everybody that has, come on the app is like, oh, this is such a beautiful tool. And I remember someone suggested, gamification, which is good. But then one of the things that we are mindful of is it's reading. We don't want children to come into the app and get carried away. Exactly. Reading is such a conscious thing, right? Because it's information that you are amassing.
It shouldn't be mindless. It should be a mindless activity.
It shouldn't just have fun. We want it to be. We want children to know that I'm reading.
And you have reading and comprehension.
Exactly, I'm reading, and reading, you're in a place, it's like a sober activity where you need to calm down, right? And
so what do you want to do?
We have a lot of active children, so we want to create, this space where they are calm and they are looking out for the details and trying to understand, what they are reading and how they can apply it in real life. So yeah, that's, I think I've covered that question.
Yes, you have. You have in good detail, because it's crucial to help our listeners understand that, EdTech is not just moving a textbook into a device, right? Into a tab.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into ensuring that, the system, the standards are not reduced.
Exactly.
Just because you're trying to get people learn from anywhere or to get them engaged, which a lot of people try to do when it comes with EdTech, and they see it as just another tool or just another thing to keep kids, especially for the type of products that you have. So it is helping parents understand that this can help a child learn. And we didn't just do it because we're trying to compete with a bigger global brand, but because we understand maybe the peculiarities of Nigeria. And while they are learning literacy, while they are, learning their vowel sounds and all of those beautiful things, they're also learning things that are important for their contextualization for Nigeria, for Africa, whatever the story, is centered on. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Yes, as we wrap up, I just want to know, how would you advise parents to select the right kinds of solutions to help their learners at whatever age, at home? And let me even say whatever age. I'd say for this category that you work with, 4 to 10, particularly early years, because it's a very crucial age. It's a very crucial, it's the foundation of anything and everything that they will learn. So with the expertise and the experience that you've garnered over the years, and with working with Kunda Kids, which is an award-winning, EdTech products, everybody, if you don't know, please go and check. You are the right person to advise. What should they look out for? What type of tools? And you could be mirroring a framework you already have internally, but what should they be checking off their lists when it comes to choosing the right kinds of solutions for children at early years?
So thank you for that question. Now I'm going to talk as a parent, right? Not as an employee or a staff of Kunda Kids. One of the things that I advise parents to do is you need to know what your goals and objectives are at every point in time. For example, when my kid turned 18 months, I had expected that he would be sounding out some words, right, at 18 months. Because I have this, maybe it's because I'm an educator. So I have milestones, like, okay, so he's supposed to be doing this at this. And while I understand that other children are different, it's also good to be able to track the development of your child, because it helps you know, okay, does my child need help or assistance in this particular area? And you start tackling whatever that issue is early enough. Now, at every point in time, you want to know what your objectives are as a parent. Are you trying to improve their literacy? Are you trying to get them to learn their sounds? Are you trying to get them to learn the parts of their body? Are you trying to get them to learn how to string words together to form sentences? That is one. And then when you've set these objectives, another thing you want to do is you want to avoid platforms that emphasize more on just fun. Fun is not bad. Fun is good. But you should be able to see results after, a period of time. You should be able to track if you have your child watching a particular channel or program or using a particular product for 3 months and you're not seeing results. The child just wants to always be on that, platform. But at the end of the day, you can't really say this is what this child has learned. This is how it has helped this child. Maybe it's making the child more confident or making the child more outspoken. You would want to take a chill pee. You would just take a chill pee and take a break and say, am I sure this is the right tool for my child?
For those milestones.
Exactly, for those milestones you've set for your child. Am I sure this is the right tool that this child should be using? Sometimes children are using tools that are way beyond or, let me say, not age appropriate. for them. Sometimes you're exposing children to tools that are not appropriate, like age appropriate for them, right? So you need to be clear on your objectives and your goals. You also need to be wary of tools that are addictive in nature. It's not difficult to know tools that are addictive. It's actually not difficult. Give your child a tab and the child is and you're like, what are you doing? I want to kill this thing, or I want to do this thing, or I want to... Okay, so what have you learned from this? How is it improving his performance in school? How is it improving his critical thinking, his problem-solving skills? The way he relates with... When your child starts throwing tantrums, I tell people, once your child starts throwing tantrums because of a particular tool, take it away. It's time to take it away. It's not healthy. It's a simple indicator. It's not healthy. If a child, now these are two different things. If a child gets excited by a tool, that's different from when your child starts being violent and starts throwing tantrums. When you take that thing away, that's an indicator that you need to give it a rest, right? There's also a tendency, it's a two-way coin, because there's also a tendency that tool might be good, but your child just really loves it, right? So that's where control comes in, right? Because, of course, you need to also control screen time. You also need to control the way your children use the tools. And you also need to be able to see how it translates to real-life experiences. You want tools, for example... I was talking about how we have a video on There's Rice Apple. My child watched the video the other day and we were having a random conversation with jollof rice on the table. I came and said, Jambalaya. And I was like, I didn't even know that was where he heard that from, right? So if children are not able to make connections with the real world from what they're seeing, there's no point still indulging that exactly
EdTech product.
There's no point, because it's counterproductive. I don't know if that's the right word to you. You're not making any progress, right? They should be able to differentiate the screen from reality, and they should be able to make connections too. Because that's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of developing the tools that we're developing. We're creating simulations for them, right? Yeah. Because of course, my child cannot go to UK and the US and France, but we want to be able to take them on trips around the world while they're still here and show them different cultures and ways of life, right? So if they're not able to relate that with the real world, then you need to go back to the table. Then for people that are building, I keep saying this thing, test with children. You're building a tool for secondary school children, and you're thinking about what you wanted when you were in school 20 or 10 years ago. Times have changed. I was telling someone the other day that right now I'm learning. Do you know that there's a lingo called ballroom lingo? That's what the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas use. I'm creating for them, so I need to go and learn. Because these people can have a whole conversation here and talk about beating me up, and I wouldn't even know, right? That's just, on a lighter note. So you could be in a room filled with Gen Zs, and they have a complete conversation, and you have no idea what they're talking about. But you're creating for these people. So it doesn't make sense. You need to understand their lingo. You need to understand the things that make them tick. You need to understand the things that, they love. And you need to test with them too. I was just doing a research on a particular product before I came into this space. And teachers were like, this product is wonderful. And the students were like, no, it's boring. It's so slow. It's terrible. I hate it. And the only reason I use it is because I have to. Right? So you need to test with these children to ensure that they are actually learning. It's actually having an impact on, their learning and their development or whatever it is. I just have so much. I
thoroughly enjoyed listening to you, Cynthia. It has been an absolute delight having you here. And for someone who, even as an adult, consumes, your books, my I read Afam at the New Yam Festival on Saturday, just Saturday here, and it was, beautiful as always. I have also read Mansa Musa, Astronauts to the Moon.
Yeah.
So I know how much work goes into developing the content that you have, not just for the books, but also, the digital ones as well, your animated series and the rest. So please, parents, children, everyone, you really need to see what Kunda Kids has and how they've transformed literacy for young ones with their app and how it's very intentional. And also, we want to hear from you. What do you think when you go through their own product and even other EdTech products around that maybe focus on children in the early years category? What are your concerns, when it comes to the ability to actually help learners learn effectively? Do you have any reservations? Do you truly believe that a child can pick up a tab and just by watching a music video, they are learning their sounds, they are learning places, and they can translate this, as Cynthia said, into real world experiences, being able to tell this is, what is happening in this, online environment, but also what is happening in real life. Would love to hear from you. Send us an SMS or a WhatsApp message to 0703 165 0809. And if there are any outstanding EdTech products you have used and you feel these guys have it on lockdown with actually unlocking learning and ensuring that learning is smooth, is effective, and it's fun, would love to hear about them. Perhaps you can spotlight them on the show. Send us, your recommendations. Send us products you've used and thoroughly enjoyed or not. Would love to hear from you. Remember, you can also follow the conversation in case you know someone who didn't listen to all the beautiful things Cynthia had to share today. Hurry on now to our Spotify channel or YouTube. Spotify is EdTech Mondays Nigeria. YouTube is CC Hub Africa to continue the conversation. We have a very active WhatsApp and Telegram community, EdTech Mondays Nigeria. Go there, join the conversation. I'm sure you have one or more things to learn from there. Till I come your way next week, I enjoyed myself. I hope you do. Continue learning, stay curious, and remember, EdTech is here to stay. Bye.
It's time for EdTech Mondays, brought to you by MasterCard Foundation and CC Hub.